Sketchbook tour. 3 sketchbook tours. Salut! Welcome to my very first video on this YouTube channel. My name is Dominique and I'm a multi-passionate artist. I've been creating all types of art since I was a child, but then life got in the way and I stopped creating for a while. A long while. Eventually, I hit the almost inevitable midlife crisis and thought I'd try to cure it with creating. I remembered I used to love it as a child, so why not go back to my first loves? So in 2019, I bought a book with various art prompts using different suggested mediums. It was so rough at the beginning. It felt like I couldn't really get back into creating art. This wasn't going to do it. That is, until I discovered watercolors. I was in love. My first attempts were very clumsy, terrible, and so much fun. And instead of being upset with my failures, they made me laugh and want to keep trying. The way watercolor moved on the page fascinated me. I wasn't even using 100% cotton paper professional quality paints yet. I knew nothing of watercolor. So I turned to YouTube and I watched so many watercolor tutorials and learned so much from very generous artists who were sharing their skills. I decided to join the party. I'll be starting this YouTube journey with a tour of my first 3 sketchbooks. Now, these are not my first sketches or paintings. I'm not sure those would be worth your time, but these are the first sketchbooks I've completed. So let's begin the tours. The first one is a Canson mixed media sketchbook. I started this one before discovering there was such a thing as sketchbook art, so I started using this one just to practice strokes and plan paintings. So there's not much to see, and what there is very, very light. This was one of the paintings that I planned for a colleague. I did this for a friend who told me a beautiful story about her son and dragon fruit, and I think it was the first painting I ever gifted to someone. And these were to plan a painting I did for my mom. It's not a very interesting sketchbook, at least not at the beginning. Then I discovered Louis Colin art, and I loved his style. So I tried to imitate it a little bit, and it takes way more time than I have the patience for. Going fairly quickly because there's not much to see. Playing around with watercolor. My first attempt at sketch journaling. Did this just trying random patterns. I never usually do this. I had fun with this. This is when I sort of kind of discovered urban sketching. Playing with ballpoint pens, combining colors to see what the effects would be. I did this sketch from a reference photo that one of my friends took of a shed in the neighborhood I used to live in. For this one, I tried to sketch my daughter. It did not go well. She does not look like this. Tried to sketch Chris. I learned about the Loomis head here and I was trying it out not very successfully, but it was the beginning. Tried to sketch my daughter again. It was a little bit better, but she still doesn't look like this. Sketch of the Loblaws from the car. Sketch of the view from the living room couch. The view has changed since then. This is where I was starting to have fun with watercolors and ink. I really like this one. This is probably my favorite one in the whole book. A little sketch of the cat when she was still weary of us, not sure if she could trust us enough to come down the stairs. She would just stay in the stairs and just stare at us from the top of the stairs. Flowers from our front garden. My attempt at sketching the cat. Another sketch from the car. Flower from our garden. Birds from a photo reference I took when I went to Paris with Christopher, and a little sketch of a female cardinal. This one is a Strathmore 400 series watercolor sketchbook, and for this one I made sure that whatever I sketched in here was in front of me. So I called it en personne, in person. So I started with my sketching supplies. More sketches from the car. Sketch from the side of our house. I kind of like how I did the shadows here. Sitting on the back deck, looking at the neighbor's yard, waiting for my daughter where she was working. For this one, I was sketching the flower market in a Loblaws parking lot, but I didn't have time to finish before my family came back to the car, and I didn't feel like finishing it after. I wasn't into that one. A little still life from what was laying on our coffee table. The plants that we got that year for summer in June 2021. The view from the back deck to the fence between us and the neighbor and the flowers in the neighbor's yard. I really like how this sketch turned out. Yellow flame zinnias, one of my favorite flowers that we had that year. It was beautiful. A little sketch I did while I was waiting after getting the COVID-19 vaccine. More sketching supplies. M-Gram watercolors in a Art Toolkit pocket palette, and Danielle Smith paints and Winsor & Newton paints in a Art Toolkit pocket palette. Sketch I did at the Elmer Marina, sitting on the beach. It was a very windy day. Flowers from our front garden. One of our backyard neighbors that used to come and visit a lot. This one is a sketch from a doctor's waiting room while waiting for my mother. The sketch, the view from the couch again. Trying to sketch my car, the inside while waiting. Sitting on the front porch, sketching what was in front of me. Another sketch from the car. Sitting on my mom's couch and looking at the view from her living room. I worked on this sketch for 3 days, not because it was difficult, but because I wasn't sure how I wanted to finish it. I finally decided to try just adding shadows and texture with ink instead of using watercolor. Although it's not at the level I would want to be, I still like how this sketch turned out. One of my favorite sketches of Christopher. Another sketch of Christopher. I sketched this on the MS Teams call. She didn't look that angry. My favorite cup on a mug warmer. The cat surveilling the yard again. The back of the building of our doctor's office, waiting for my daughter while she was in an appointment. Another sketch of the view of my mom's living room. My daughter playing video games. This is a terrible sketch of Noah. It's fine. I laughed when I did it. Like, he doesn't look like this. He's much cuter than this. Another parking lot sketch. And of course, another sketch of Blah Blahs. I really love how the leaves, the trees turned out here. I like the colors of this one. The last one is the Etcher Perfect sketchbook. I wasn't used to cotton paper. It took me a little while to get used to it, and now that's my preference. It's cotton paper. Testing out my M-gram watercolors. This is a remake of a painting I did in high school. This one is in watercolor, but the original one was in gouache, and I didn't have the shadows at the right spot and the light for the candle at the right spot, so I did it again. It's not perfect, but I like this sketch a lot. I tried to sketch me and my sister. My sister doesn't have big eyes like this, but I like how the rest of the sketch worked out. At first it was just monochrome watercolor, but then I was trying to fix my sister's eyes, so I went over with ink to try to fix things, and I just made it worse. Watercolor sketch of my parents. My dad was 17, my mom was 16, and these are not, like, this is not one photo. There are two separate photos that I just collaged together to make this portrait. First painting of a cardinal. I really like how this one came out. I was playing around with colors that I normally don't use, and I really love how this turned out. I tried to sketch the crocuses from our yard, from our front yard. Watercolor gouache, wasn't used to gouache yet, so the colors are not as bright as they could be. So maybe I'll try to do something similar at another time to compare, now that I know a little bit more about gouache too. I love these. I love the look of them. I love the muted colors. They're very moody. This was just a tree from my imagination, and this one was based on a reference photo of when we went to New Brunswick. I really like all the different colors and textures in the rocks. more of New Brunswick. This is from Gaspé. Playing with yellow. The cat staring at me. I love these two sketches. This was from like a little scene in our living room. And this was based on a photo of me when I was 4. My mouth is a little big here, but I still like the overall look of this painting. Tried to sketch myself looking at myself in the rear view mirror, but or in the in the mirror. I don't look like that at all, not even close. More waiting for somebody waiting in the car, so I sketched what I was seeing. Sketch of Avery, didn't work out. Little sketch, a self-portrait. I kind of like the way this one turned out. Sketch of Parliament. A homeless man I saw while I was waiting at a gas station. These were reference photos. This was from a friend's cabin and her dog peeking into the cabin before they did the renovations. Another cardinal. I love these radishes. I like how they turned out. It feels like you can almost pick them up from the page. So I did this first sketch and I didn't like how noisy it was. Like I didn't play with the composition. I was just trying to sketch what was there and I didn't like it. So I redid it and I left out some of the elements that were in the sketch, and I like how this one turned out better. Chris and Noah playing unstable unicorns. I killed your hipster unicorn, son of a birch. This is a portrait of my friend Kelly. He posted this on Facebook and I thought it was funny looking. He looked angry while wearing an elf hat. So that was just too funny. So that was my first Christmas Kelly. Tried to sketch the Honorable Murray St. Clair. Didn't work out so well, but I still like the colors I used for this one. Another self-portrait. Another Christopher, another Ashley, my daughter, the cat with her cute little paw, the view, the shelf above my desk at the time. And that was it, just testing out pens and colors. So there you have it, 3 sketchbooks for my first sketchbook tour video.